Good morning, everybody. Well, to us it's morning.
Yes,
Still
very early.
beautiful. Today we're doing something that I'm honestly wanting to tick off my bucket list for donkeys now. Now, if you know my channel, you know that I've done a lot of industrial abandoned railway tunnels. Some of them have never been filmed before, for obvious reasons, but on this occasion, as part of the channel dictates, we are going to do the reason why it's on my bucket list, let's just get this out of the way, is it's the furthest east you can go in England for a disused, abandoned train tunnel. And we're talking about Cromer Railway Tunnel. I'm joined by the wonderful, exquisite Sophie, urban explorer, historical lover of ruins and such what. And yes, a part of my life, we can say that. we won't get monetised for that. On a break of pace, which as a recording is the second time this has ever happened, I've just been corrected. As you can tell, this is the second time we've done this intro for this very reason, that my memory has faded me already. This will be the second time that Sophie is going to, we're not going to have a history lesson, Sophie is just going to talk you through it with her historical knowledge on this tunnel, so there you go, and my guidance via the camera work behind. Thank you, Sophie, for doing this. She's very nervous.
It's like Freaky Friday.
Yeah, it is. So feel free to send lots of likes in this video for her support on actually doing this. And we will see you on the other side. Come on. Welcome back, everybody. Wow.
I just stopped.
I'm keeping this in.
You are not
I am.
keeping that in. Oh, and it's really cold and I'm not crying.
Right, welcome back.
Oh dear.
We're in a tunnel. Do you know how loud that is? That's a first on this channel, everybody. Normally, this is a tip for all of you out there if you want to do urban exploring in brackets. Don't do what she's just done.
Just don't snort.
Because everybody going to come now. Everybody going to come down here. Right. So, where were we? Hi, Sophie.
I broke the ice.
Yeah. Before this goes out, you're amazing and you're really cool. Because obviously she's going to regret the fact that I'm going to keep all this in. So it's okay. Because you would have done the same for me, wouldn't you?
No.
You liar. You would have done. Anyway, I am with the wonderful
Snorting
Snorting Sophie, who is going to kindly direct you on the history, the very brief history of Cromer Tunnel. So, shall we walk and talk it?
Yeah.
Come on.
So, Yvonne, this is the Cromer Railway Tunnel, built in 1906. It's just over 50 metres in length, and it's the only standard gauge tunnel in Norfolk. Its purpose was to take the Norfolk and Suffolk Joint Railway underneath the Great Eastern Rail Line from Norwich to the now closed Cromer High Street, which is behind us. It provided the Mundlesey Railway with access also to the Cromer Beach Station.
Everybody, I just want to say a massive thanks to Sophie for that. Bless her, she's a bit shy when it comes to sort of presenting, aren't you? But I think if you can like the video and show as much support on her Instagram page, that'd be really fantastic, because obviously it's just her confidence really with it, and I think she's done a fantastic job. Now what I'm going to do is take over and fill you in with the sort of like geeky bits. Now, what makes this really interesting for me is obviously, apart from it being one of the tunnels that I've not explored, which is always quite a nice thing to do. It's not that big, like we said, 50 metres in length. But it's interesting because of this. Now, if most of you, it depends if you've watched, because this has now been well documented, Cromer Railway Tunnel, so we don't lay claim to sort of saying this is something different, but it is different for me because of how it is. But this is spigot mortar, as some of you might have recognised already, and it's inside the railway tunnel. And in fact, it's almost halfway in. But the fact that it is almost almost in the middle centre of the tunnel raises an interesting question, because in the historical documentation, the rest of the spigot mortars aren't really anywhere near here. In fact, actually, there's one just outside of Cromer, and then there's one that's inside Cromer. And what we normally find with spigot mortars is, because you had to transport them, they're sort of like rocket-propelled grenades, really, in a strange way, is that the idea is that really you wanted them close by so you could fit them on that little sort of like pod there, this cement block with reinforced concrete actually, and you put it on that so it can pivot around. But normally you want a few of them in a sort of situation so that you could have like almost like what we would refer to as like a nodal point. But it's bizarre on this one, and I think that's so interesting to sort of find on this especially. We also can see, for some of you, which you've already noted as well, is that there's cabling here. So these posts, you would have the cables running through them on the side. Again, not uncommon for most of the tunnels. In fact, if you've seen my channel, you'd see that we've done a lot of those as well, or a lot of the disused tunnels have had them. See, because what happened was with this tunnel was that at one point, this was largely unknown to a lot of people. In fact, actually, most of the people in Cromer would have, I think the story was that most people in Cromer didn't even know this sort of tunnel existed. And obviously, it's a classic case that obviously people start exploring and rumour and things happen, then, you know, more people start recognising it for what it is. And it's interesting, isn't it, Soph? I mean, it's a good tunnel to do.
Yeah, it's actually lovely.
Yeah. What I think we should do, Soph, is walk to the end anyway, where the bridge is and where most people descend. We descended actually from the line, other end basically, where it got disused. So let's take you for a little bit of a wander. Come on. So, Sophie, what do you think of the actual condition? I mean, the graffiti you spoke about.
Oh yeah, it's not actually graffiti, not really in the grand scheme of things.
No.
Not much.
No.
But it's really good to live, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful piece of history for the fact that of how far we are. And actually, like I say, if you looked at the disused tunnels maps, for example, this is the furthest one east. So we can get to tick this one off and go, actually, we've done that now. So as you can see, it's actually in remarkable condition when you look at it from the outside. And you can see by Soph how small she is in comparison to the tunnel anyway, which really gives you a wonderful sort of context as to how this sort of looks and comes across really. And you do need a torch when you're in there.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly dark actually for
Yeah.
a small tunnel.
You know, it's quite tall.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very dark.
You do need a good wide beam torch
Mm.
if you want to sort of capture photos and stuff. And like I say, if you go on Sophie's Instagram page and link below, at some point you'll see these photos. Because we don't normally
Post in sequence. No.
post in sequence. So actually, I kind of encourage all of you lot to subscribe to her, so you get to either see forthcoming stuff that's not been released on the channel or vice versa, and also you get to see behind the scenes photos that haven't even been put out on the channel, which is brilliant. And as I've always said, Sophie is a wonderful photographer, and I really believe in her in that, and she's a wonderful human being anyway. I'm praising you muchly, but I really mean that, and I think it's times like this, like I said, when you're with fellow explorers as well, that you embrace these moments that you can get to these places whilst they're still here and in a relatively good condition. So shall we head back?
Yeah.
Come on then. So we need to sort of talk about really the demise of Cromer Tunnel and why it really happened. Well, really, basically, it was to do with the railway line itself, and basically the idea that really, as with most lines, sort of during the sort of like 50s, 60s, sort of beaching cut sort of like period of time, really, due to lack of attendance on the line, it sort of slowly becomes redundant. For example, why are you going to create a railway line when there's not going to be enough people to sort of like go through it? And then also what becomes common, as was probably the same on this, the freight trains still use the tunnel. They still use the line. So it would have closed to passengers first, but then it still would have been used for freight afterwards for a period of time. And like we said before, it's interesting because most of the locals didn't really know about this. And then interesting enough before, because you've got a spigot mortar which obviously dates to World War II, it's interesting because obviously that is, well, basically during the line, really, which I love. I love that piece of history. It's so quirky and interesting, isn't it? I just think, personally, this is one of the coolest ones to sort of do. And I think it's really well worth a trip. What do you think, Soph?
Yeah, it's really good.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Surprisingly bigger than you think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think really, for this channel, because I've not done a disused train tunnel in a while now, it's good to actually come down and do one, especially it was on the bucket list. And to be honest with you, everybody, let's make no bones about it, it's been explored to death by lots of people. So I'm sure there's people out there who've made better videos than this on the channel, so I do apologise for that. But what I can say is that, as a history lover and enthusiast, it's one of the easier ones to get down into. Not breaking any rules or laws or anything like that, but we're just having a really great time exploring. I think fundamentally that's what it's about, isn't it? Discovering history, making memories, taking some photos, and showing you lot out there that these tunnels are just so incredibly important to our history, because they tell stories, as with most pieces of history. But the fact that this is the only disused tunnel, technically, because there is the other one, but it's not a tunnel anymore. It's the you see the rim of it, which is actually to do with the line as well.
Yes.
I want to say it's Racton or something, not Racton.
Or something.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about the pronunciation of that, but yeah, just in case people sort of write and go, actually there's another one, but it's not really. So basically what we mean by that is that it's not got a roof anymore.
No,
It's just got the walls of the side. Part of this line as well. Anyway, are we done?
Yeah.
Any more words of Phoenix history? Thank you so much for coming along with us. Thank you, Sophie, for your wonderful narration and just being a genuinely upbeat person. Because obviously she's done a fantastic job, obviously, and I really do think that you should go and support her on her Instagram and show as much love as possible. Thank you. Any more words you'd like to talk about?
No.
No? Take care, everybody, because history matters. Feel free to spread the word of the channel. It always goes a long way. It gives us the opportunity to come down here and have a look at these places. Are you ready? Let us cup her.